Hey everybody, this is Ted Check, recovering reporter. Here's a headline that really caught my attention. Mexican firefighters arrive to battle California's blazes. This from NBCnews.com. Firefighters from Mexico have arrived in Los Angeles to help battle the deadly blazes scorching Southern California. Mexican crews will join more than 14,000 personnel deployed to fight the fires. California Governor Gavin Newsom, who met with a delegation from Mexico today at LAX, said in a post on X. And I think this is great. I think it's great because it shows that there is some type of working relationship already between the United States and Mexico. I think a lot of people are bitter towards Mexico because they feel that Mexico has not done enough to prevent the flow of illegals from their country into the United States. But it shows that they are willing to help out. They're willing to help their neighbors, and I think that's fantastic. As an aside, if this is true, LA Mayor Bass rejects FDNY's offer to help. The fire department of New York, the New York Fire Department, allegedly, or she allegedly rejected their offer. That's terrible. This woman can't do one thing right. She she botched the whole thing. She wasn't even in the United States when the fires happened, and there's question as to whether she knew beforehand or not. She supposedly cut the budget of the LA Fire Department, and now given a chance at redemption, she can't even accept help from FDNY. If that's true, that's terrible. But that's an aside. Um, Look at this. Here's the Mexican forces, Mexican military and fire aid team aboard a plane bound for California. That's great. I think that's awesome. And it brought up this. Hear me out here. Hear me out here. It brought up this larger issue of now that Trump is going to be taking office, will his will his presidency help Mexico even further? Because I think if we look at the relationship between Mexico, the United States and Mexico, in a certain way, we can it can be mutually beneficial. So the first thing is the border, right? Got to and supposedly President Biden has done everything he can to wreck that. He's selling off the border wall. I guess there's extra the pieces of the wall that have not been erected. He's selling those off, and he's just trying to stick it to Trump as much as he can, do as much damage as he can before he takes office, and I think that's terrible. Um, you should be thinking about the United States and not about ruining it for the next guy that's going to be in charge of it. But anyway, seal up the border and help Mexico seal up. How about help them? Because look at here's our border, right? Here's our border with Mexico. It's a big border, right? Here's their border, Mexico's border with Central America. Not quite, I don't know the terrain, but there are people that are coming from Central America and South America, traveling all the way through Mexico. It's not just Mexicans, but people from elsewhere, from down below, from the southern part, from Central and South America, coming up through here and getting into our country. So why not help Mexico seal up their southern border? I think that would be something. And then here's another thing. Trump's policies could boost Mexican economy. We need to boost the Mexican economy so that people will want to stay in Mexico. Why are they coming into the United States? Because they think it's so much better here than it is there. If it were better there, in theory, they would want to stay there and not try to hop over the border. So, I'm not going to get into this whole thing, but it says here the fiscal and protectionist policies announced by the virtual president of the United States, the virtual, soon to be real, the virtual president of the United States, Donald Trump, during his campaign, could also end up benefiting the Mexican economy. So if that happens, people will want to stay in Mexico. And then the other thing that we can help them with is getting rid of, or at least, severely hamstringing and nearly we take a significant chunk out of the Mexican cartels because they're a real problem. This guy here, Brandon Buck, I don't know who he. Oh, okay, he's a research fellow. He's a fellow. I'm a fellow. I'm an Ockberg fellow. What does it take to be a fellow? a research fellow in foreign policy studies at the Cato Institute. He's saying we should not use U.S. Special Forces against the Mexican cartel. Well, if not spec ops, then who? He's saying, oh my God, they've got armored vehicles, they've got drones and IEDs, heavy weapons, they have better tactics, da 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 da. Well, then in that case, it's only the spec ops that can take care of them. They're the only ones that are elite enough. They're the only ones that are qualified enough. They're the only ones that have a prayer of taking it to the cartels. So if not them, then who? We gotta sick the spec ops on them. Absolutely, and then and have help from the Mexican people to take it to them because the Mexican people know Mexico better than spec ops. I mean, you're not going to just drop spec ops in and expect them to do well and know the terrain and et cetera, et cetera. Get help from the Mexican government, not the corrupt ones, mind you. You gotta do some vetting and get some people who want to help and are effective. But there's nobody else I could think of. Um, I'm not some military expert or anything like that. I'm not an economist. But anyway, I think all these things together would increase a mutually beneficial relationship between the United States and Mexico. And yeah, everybody, it would be a win-win situation, I feel. You can call it Pollyanna, you can call it pie in the sky, call it what wishful thinking, call it whatever you want, but I'd like to think there's hope. I'd like to think that there's something that can be done, and it's only through the effective leadership of Donald Trump. Biden is useless. Biden wanted the border open so he could have millions upon millions of people pouring into this country, hoping that they'd all be Democrats. You know, just ridiculous because it's harmful. Um, we're seeing the damage that it's caused. So anyway, that's my theory. Those are some of my ideas. Tell me what you think. I want to know what you think of all this, and I will talk to you later.